Hi guys, Norm with you again, and I'm not using the headset for this, so the audio might be a bit weird, but I didn't want to use the headset because I wanted to pick up on the noise of this vacuum cleaner. This is a Dyson V7 vacuum cleaner, and it works on low speed, but as soon as you put it on high speed, it wigs out, and then it will not come back on until you put the charger in. Just gotta wait for it to stop flashing. And that only needs to be on for a second, and I put it back to low speed, and it comes on again. And oh, now it's gone off in low speed, you see. And so then again, I just give it a second, wait for that to finish flashing. Okay. And now and that will last for around 21 minutes. And so I looked up on the Dyson website, and it says with a good battery on a V7 on like standard speed or slow speed, it should last around 20 minutes. So this pack is lasting 21 minutes, so I'm assuming the cells in there are very good. But what I've got is this new circuit board to fit in, and I'm thinking this will hopefully fix it. I mean, this was like £7, I think. It's not actually a Dyson board, but should do the job, I think. The trouble with these is actually that they just draw so much current. The motors are so power hungry that they do actually destroy the batteries when they're in use, really, because they just pull so hard and so much current that yeah, it's not really good. I mean, from all the tests I've done, it seems that batteries or the cells in here are good. And so let's get this battery off, get it apart, and see what we can do with it. Okay, so I've done a couple of V6s. Never really done a V7, but there is 2 screws here and here, one there, one there. And that seems to be all the screws there is. So let's get them out. And tighter than expected. See, this battery has never been removed before. And the thing with these, which I might have said earlier, but I might have deleted, the thing with these Dysons is they just put so much stress on the battery that in reality you think they should have designed it a bit differently or something. Now, in theory, that battery may come out or may not. Okay, let me figure this out and I'll be right back. Okay, this wobbly phone holder thing is still wobbling, but yeah, there was another screw up here which seems quite a way up, and you wouldn't think it's the same, you know, connected to the battery, but it is actually. On the V6 there's a screw about here, which is, yeah, basically what that screw's doing. Now if we pull this off, come on, there we can see that, yes, the battery is, or the battery pack rather, is similar to the V6, only got a much longer bit here. Now what we've got to do is try and get this apart. Now there is gap here, as you might be able to see, and it's just a matter of separating that from that, although there is some clips all around, and it's not the easiest things to get into. And of course the annoying thing with the V7 battery, they've actually made it about half a centimetre wider, and they've done that specifically so it will not fit in a V6 charger. A V6 charger dock, you look at this and you look at the V6 and you think that'll fit, and you try to put it in and this is just, you know, 5mm too wide. I mean, why have they done that? I mean, on the V6 they've made the battery pack to the width of the 18650s. But in this, they've extended it by maybe 5mm, it's just a guess. And the only reason they've done that is so it won't fit in the previous charge dock. So if you've got a V6, or you've been using a V6, obviously this V7, this is well out of date now anyway, but if you were using a V6 in the day, and you thought, oh, I'll upgrade to the V7, you couldn't just go and buy a V7, you'd have to go and buy a new charge dock as well, because the bloody thing won't fit. I mean, the charger is the same. I can take the charge lead out from the charge dock, plug it into this V7, works perfectly. But this battery will not fit in the V6 charge dock, and that is stupid, because it's, you know, this length, the height to the centre of there is the same, and it's just literally, they've just made it just too wide so it won't fit, and that is not good. Now, right, enough yapping, let's try and get this fucking thing apart. Right, join me in a minute. Okay, so I'm back on the headset now, so the audio should be better, but you never know, maybe it's not. Anyway, so this is the battery apart now, and it did come apart slightly easier than the V6 ones. Now in theory we should be able to pull this out. Yes, and we can see the very thick padding they've used on either side of the battery pack here. So yeah, and they only need that because they've made this just wide enough so it doesn't fit in the V6 charge dock. Why would they do that? Make you throw away your V6 charge dock. Now this board looks pretty much completely different, but it does have the correct connection points there and there, here and here for the battery management. There's this terminal and that terminal back there. So although this is not a genuine Dyson board, it should fit. Skadoosh. And positive on that terminal. And yes, 22 volts. And so that's not what we want. We want to drain that. Okay, so that's a close-up view of the dummy load. Currently set to draw an amp. Set to draw an amp there, and that's good. And now I want to come down to the stop voltage. And I've got a now around 2.7 is considered flat for each battery in this pack, but I'm going to go down to 2 volts per cell. I mean, that still leaves a huge amount of energy in these LED things. So you still have to be very careful. But 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So set this to 12 volts. Okay, so now we're reading 21.9. If I start this now, it should work. Yep, discharging at 1 amp. And so all we can do now is leave that, and that's going to take a few hours, I would think. And then when the battery gets down to 12 volts, which is 2 volts per cell, then it's going to stop. Okay, so I've really got to sort out this wobbly camera holder. But anyway, that's now discharging. And when it gets down to 2 volts per cell or 12 volts for the entire pack, then it will stop. I mean, I would prefer to take these right down to like 1 volt or no volts, but that can sort of damage the cells. So 2 volts is it, and then we're still going to have to be very careful when we actually desolder this board. And of course, there's a lot of this rubberized coating that they've put on there, and they've covered up all the contacts. So thankfully I've got a load of these little wooden toothpick things, so I'm hoping they're going to be okay to actually just dig away the rubber from around the contacts. And yes, that is working. I mean, I don't really know why they've coated this in the rubber. I mean, it's not as if this is going to get wet or damp anywhere. This is designed for in-house use, so it doesn't really need to be conformally coated, but I suppose it would suffer quite a bit of vibration inside the vacuum cleaner. So I suppose they think cover it with a load of rubber and that would help. Only it doesn't really help because these boards are crap from the beginning. And so yeah, I know we won't really go into that now, but well, certainly on the V6s, I've seen so many V6s be scrapped when there's absolutely nothing wrong with the Hoover itself. It's just the circuit board and the battery. And it's just the circuit boards just cannot stand the thrashing and the abuse that the Dyson digital motor thing, whatever it's called, actually gives it, you know. I mean, it's good they invent this super powerful motor. And yeah, it's really powerful and it's really good. And it's all that. But what they need to do next is modify the battery pack so it can cope. That's looking okay. So what I do now, just wait for that, or wait for this to discharge, and then we'll come back to it and set about changing the board. Okay, so I got a bit ahead of myself there. I was listening to this Lion King audiobook thing, and I just got on with the job and took this board off. So that board would have went on there. So I took that off. And now, of course, we've got this new board to go on. And so that should line up with all of those connections. Then we can put it in and it should be good. Okay, so the problem is the hole here is not wide enough to fit the contact in. It looks wide enough, but it's just not wide enough. So I got to think what I'm going to do now about that. Okay, so what I've done is just cut a corner off there. That should allow it to slide up in. But let's get these soldered up now. And then I suppose we can try it. Some description. Come on, big boy. Oh yeah. Whew. That's nice. This fucker gets hot. It's probably a bit much for those smaller connections. But, wow. Certainly gets the solder flowing. Woohoo. See, these little contacts you could do with a standard soldering iron. But for these big contacts, you really do need something huge like this. And that just gets in there, makes a lovely contact. Okay. Right, well I guess we can rebuild this now and see if it is going to work. That was a bloody nightmare, but it is all back together now, and it's, you know, not looking as bad as it might have looked. So, I mean, that's okay. I mean, the main thing is, does it work? And from the looks of this, it does appear to be taking a charge, so that's good. And when I pull the charger out, it does appear to be lighting up, so providing power to the outputs. Okay, so this has now been on charge overnight and the blue light's gone off completely. So let's now pull out the charger. Now with the V6s, with a good battery, it should last around 5 minutes on boost or maximum. So I'm assuming that this one should be the same. It should last about 5 minutes. So let's see what happens. No, that's not good. About what? 5 seconds. So this vacuum cleaner, I've done all that work replacing the board and the battery, and it isn't really any better. I mean, okay, it lasts maybe a few more seconds than it did before, but what's the point in that? And so this new battery board isn't really much better than the old one. No, just cannot take the power of these Dyson sort of digital motors. You know, they do pull so much current that it's ridiculous, really. Well, there you go, guys. That just goes to show it's not worth putting a new board in. I mean, that new board was like £7, I think, delivered, and it took like 15 days to get here, probably, and it hasn't made the vacuum any better. Well, I mean, I guess on the slow speed, yeah, so it's not wigging out on the slow speed now, at least. So, you know, as long as they keep it on low speed, it's all right. You could say, couldn't you? Well, it was all right on slow speed before, as long as you didn't dick around with the trigger too much. So, yeah, that was a complete waste of time. But you have to try these things. Anyway, there we go, guys. That was worth an experiment, I suppose, to see. But sadly, nothing came of it. Wasn't really worth doing. But there you go. So thanks for watching, guys. Cheers for now.